Next up in Boulder, we go boxing with Nicole Glaros, a multi-time entrepreneur and a core component of the growth of Techstars. We hit on a variety of topics, including radical self-inquiry, investor pitches, co-founder teams, and getting punched in the face. Prior to Techstars, you've had a couple companies. Mm-hmm. So you had some experience growing, running some companies. Now that you've been at Techstars for how many years?
9.
What are some of the things that you've worked on just in your 9 years at Techstars?
Oh my gosh. When I got involved, there were like 10 companies in the portfolio. We now have almost 1,700.
Okay.
Growing at over 400 a year.
Yep.
And so I've held multiple roles in the organization, which has been really fun. I mean, when I first started, I was running the Techstars Boulder program along with David. David and I did that together. But I was also handling like most of the marketing, all of the legal and onboarding. Ask me about my legal background.
Zero.
Yep. I was like Googling anti-dilution in Google to figure out what that meant. I didn't even know what that meant. But you learn really quick, and I was literally handling most of the stuff at Techstars. So I ran programs. I was a managing director. I've run 8 programs. I currently hold the record for running the most programs, although I'm about to get surpassed by a guy by the name of Alex Iskold, who lives in New York.
Okay.
He's currently finishing up his 7th.
Wow.
So that's, for me, that represents over 100 companies in my personal portfolio that I've funded, in addition to all the companies that I funded through my role at Techstars on the investment team there.
Yep.
But so anyway, I was managing director for a long time, and then I was the chief product, chief innovation officer, and recently have moved over to the investment team to focus on investments full time.
Okay.
I just made him run a red light.
Sorry, it's usually I'm the one driving. I'm usually driving and watching them. It's not an easy task, is it? You've done a lot of work with helping these founding teams go through Techstars, and I know there's a variety of things that you've learned along the way, and you've been sharing and teaching others. But one of the things that you're really known for is the art of the pitch. What would you say people typically do wrong when pitching investors in the early stage?
Well, there's probably a list of things, but I would start with not understanding the investor mindset. Once you really understand the investor mindset, it's much easier to tweak what you say to resonate with what they're looking for. And so when you help a founder really understand the investor mindset, it makes it a lot easier for them to communicate. That's thing one.
Yep.
Thing two is too much information, too much. They're just too verbose. I think if people don't understand it, if I explain it more, then people will get it, and that's exactly wrong. People shut off when you explain it more. You need to explain it less, but more succinctly and powerfully. So often start with understanding the investor mindset and then moving to fewer, more efficient, more powerful words. And that usually helps in most cases. And then, you need to understand the sort of structure of a pitch and the correct components that you need. But those two things are what most founders get wrong.
What would you say are the characteristics that of kind of founders and founding teams that work really well within Techstars and get the most out of Techstars? And one more piece, are successful post Techstars.
Yeah.
Like, what are the characteristics of those people?
Insatiable curiosity would be one. I would call it self-curiosity, which are radical self-inquiry about what you're good at, what you're not good at, and being honest about those things. And that's where I say a lot of founders get it wrong, is they either think that they need to portray this image of, I can do everything, I know everything, I'm great. But it's the ones that, when faced with conflicting information, they don't defend it. they get curious about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get curious about, hey, why isn't that working? Rather than, this should work because it's my idea. And so it's that like insatiable curiosity about who you are and what you're good at. So that's trait one, and that's a very individual trait.
Yep.
The second one is the respect and communication between the founders. And when you have founders that come in that really respect each other and love each other, and they know how to communicate through adversity, they can tackle almost anything. Almost anything. And these founders go through hell.
Yep.
They all go through hell. But when you have two people that really lean on each other and respect each other, and I would say love each other, right?
Yep.
But know how to communicate through the hard times, then the combination of that like radical self-inquiry, honesty with yourself, and then this communication level with your co-founders is a pretty killer combination. And then I would say the third is just ability to execute. I got a lot of, I talk to founders all day long and they've got these great ideas. I guarantee you I've heard the idea before. In fact, I was reading Techstars applications today, and I did not read a new idea. Like, they're all ideas that I have seen before. Mm-hmm. It's not the idea, it's the execution of the idea. Yep. And so when you get founders together that actually know how to execute, that know how to put one foot in front of the other and get it done, that's a really important trait. And then there's a bunch of other ones too, like the founders that are always trying to hire people better than themselves, smarter than themselves. And you can do that when you have radical self-inquiry and self-honesty about what you're good at and bad at.
Yep.
People building strengths where they are weak, and that's that sort of better than you, smarter than you role. Yep. Founders that truly understand the need for sales and revenue. And I know that sounds kitschy, but we're in technology, and a lot of times engineers are the ones that found companies, and they're so committed to making the world's best product that they forget that it takes the sales and marketing to deploy that product into the space. And so I've seen lots of companies with the best technology on the planet die because the founders don't know how to get it out there. So that would be the list of stuff that I tend to look for when I want to work with companies.
So how does boxing help you in work, life? Because that's what we're going to go do right now.
Yeah, we're going to go box.
Yeah.
You ready to put on some boxing gloves?
I'm ready.
You ready to get punched in the face?
Yeah, no.
No, good. That's good, because I'm not going to punch you in the face. Boxing is this really interesting combination of emotions. So I was an athlete. I like to say I am an athlete, right? And I used to do triathlons, I used to swim, I used to play volleyball. But in all of those sports, when you get tired, you slow down. I mean, that's a natural reaction, right? In boxing, when you get tired, you get punched in the face. And so there's a fear element that other sports just don't have, where not only are you working physically as hard as you've ever worked, but you also have this fear component when every cell in your body is telling you to run the other direction and you don't, you stand and face it. That pushes me in ways that I've never been pushed before, and I really appreciate that. But then on top of all those two, the physical challenge and the emotional challenge, you have the mental challenge. Boxing is actually a very cerebral sport. You're constantly reading your opponent and defense and offense. Am I going to throw a hook? Where are they going to throw next? How am I going to move? You're constantly thinking, and so the strategy behind it is mental as well. And I don't know any other non-contact sports that offer that combination of things. And that's why I like boxing.
Techstars has a huge mentor network. Mm-hmm. How can founders best work with mentors?
Well, they have to remember that mentors do it because they want to, because it's fun for them. And when you start there, then you understand that it is about chemistry. And it is the chemistry between the founder and the mentor that drives fun and drives engagement. It's that simple. It's chemistry. If you're just not feeling it with the mentor's probably just not feeling it with you. So learning to identify that chemistry and then leaning into engaging them and having fun. And so what that means is, like, most mentors want to mentor because they want to learn something. Mm-hmm. So help teach them, help educate them on why you decided not to do something that they suggested that you do.
Yep.
Help them understand that you are listening to them, right? I've got a company that I was working with, and at some point I said, listen, I think we're done on the mentorship piece, and the founder was really upset. Why? And I'm like, man, I've given you 10 or 15 things that are my opinions. You don't have to follow them, but you've done none of them.
Yep.
And so it's not fun for me to feel like my guidance is going in an empty pit. By the way, I don't have an ego about you following them, but when I don't understand why and you're not giving me that full circle feedback, it's not fun for me. I'm not learning.
It doesn't allow you to make an impact.
And I feel like you're not listening to me.
Yep.
So really full circle loops with the mentors on why you are or aren't following their guidance, giving them the opportunity to learn, giving them the opportunity to engage, right? It's like the founder that emails you once every 6 months versus the one that does every few weeks and asks a really simple question that you can engage with, where you feel like you're being helpful. And when you feel like you're being helpful, you're having fun. Right? And when you feel like you're learning, you're having fun. And when you're doing it with somebody that you have chemistry with, you're really having fun. And so the mentor will lean in more, and then the founder will lean in more. And the more that dance happens, it becomes this beautiful, synchronized mentorship where the mentee also becomes the mentor. And it's a bi-directional relationship. I mean, some of the best companies that I mentor me.
The work that you've done at Techstars and the work prior with your own companies, none of this is easy work. Like, I mean, you could have found some other job that's easy, spend your time on. Like, why do you do this? Like, why for you? Like, what drives you to do this work?
I'm not in life for easy. I'm in life for fun and challenge. And that's when I grow. I mean, I'm having fun when I'm challenged. And these are all new problems. Every problem, I shouldn't say they're all new problems. Many problems are new. Many problems are repeat. But when a problem is repeat, I feel like I can add value, and that's fun for me. And when a problem is new, I feel like I'm learning. And that's fun for me. And so I don't want to lay on my deathbed and go, my life was really
easy.
Like, I want to look back and go, I accomplished something. And you can't accomplish something unless you try hard, unless you tackle the hard stuff. And that's why I'm in this. I mean, founders are such a wonderful breed, right? They have, first of all, they have a screw loose somewhere in their brain. Like, you have a 95% chance of failing. 95% chance of failing. And
unless you go through a Techstars program.
Unless you go through a Techstars program, right? But yet you still have enough confidence in your own abilities that you think you're not gonna be in that 95%. You're gonna be in the 5%. I mean, you have a screw loose. But that optimism, that drive, that creativity. I mean, entrepreneurship they're artists. They just artists with businesses and products. And I love that creative thinking. I love the challenges of it. Most of the challenges are people challenges, and people are complex bags of water. And I think those are fun challenges to tackle.